the judgment of Earth. The first words spoken by Queen Zyrith of the Valari Dominion about humanity were not whispered in secrecy or spoken in rage. They were spoken calmly, before a council of 1,000 worlds. Humans are pathetic. The chamber of the Dominion citadel echoed with the soft hum of energy fields and the slow, synchronized breathing of alien delegates. Massive crystalline pillars stretched upward into darkness, refracting starlight from an artificial sun suspended at the center of the hall. Holographic banners displayed conquered systems, each a testament to Valari supremacy. Queen Zyrith sat upon her living throne, a structure grown from obsidian biometal and neural crystal. Her form was tall and elegant, her silver-black exoskeleton smooth as polished stone. Veins of soft violet light pulsed beneath her translucent skin, marking her as a true-born royal, engineer perfected, feared. Her 4 eyes scanned the assembly with cool authority. They possessed no unified command, she continued. Their species fractures itself along imaginary lines. Nation, religion, ideology. They war among themselves while believing they are civilized. Their technology is crude, their starflight slow, their bodies fragile. A ripple of approval passed through the delegates. Their planet, Zyra said, will be absorbed within one cycle. Earth will serve as a resource world. Humanity will either adapt into labor castes or be extinguished. The decision was unanimous. Across the void, unaware of the verdict sealed light years away, Earth continued its daily rhythm. Cities glowing, oceans breathing, humans dreaming. And one human, very specifically, was about to be noticed. The invasion that wasn't a war. The Valari Dominion did not invade with chaos or firestorms. They did not announce themselves with planetary annihilation. They arrived with silence. One moment, Earth's satellites were alone in orbit. The next, space folded like paper. Valari war forms emerged, vast, black structures shaped like spears and crescents, their hulls absorbing light rather than reflecting it. They took positions above major population centers without firing a single shot. Every screen on Earth activated simultaneously. Governments, homes, hospitals, streets. Queen Zyrith's image filled them all. "People of Earth," she said, her voice translated flawlessly into every language. "Your species has been evaluated. Resistance is unnecessary. Compliance will ensure survival." There was panic, protests, military scrambling. Then the Valari demonstrated restraint, not weakness. When a coalition of Earth's nations launched their most advanced orbital weapons, the Valari ships absorbed the impacts like rain. One human missile was gently redirected and placed intact on the ground in the Nevada desert. A message: you cannot hurt us, but we can hurt you. Within 48 hours, Earth surrendered, not because humanity lacked courage, but because annihilation would have been meaningless. Queen Zyrith established the first occupation zone above Geneva, converting the city into a Valari command hub. Humans were summoned as observers, translators, analysts. Among them was Dr. Elias Rowan, the human who looked back. Elias Rowan was not a soldier. He was not a politician. He was a systems theorist, an expert in emergent intelligence, complexity, and adaptive networks. He believed the universe was less about power and more about patterns. That belief would save his species. When Elias was escorted into the Valari citadel above Geneva, he expected cruelty. What he encountered instead was indifference. Valari officers moved past him as if he were furniture. Automated drones scan his biology with clinical curiosity. No hatred, no malice, just dismissal. Queen Zyrith did not rise when he was brought before her. "You're a representative?" she asked. "One of many," Elias replied calmly. Her eyes narrowed, not in anger, but in faint surprise. "You are unafraid." "I'm terrified," he said. "But fear doesn't mean silence." A few Valari advisors shifted uneasily. "Speak, then," the Queen said. "Explain why your species deserves more than utility." Elias took a breath. "We've been fractured," he admitted. "We've been violent, short-sighted, but we're adaptable in ways you don't measure." Zyrith tilted her head. "You adapt by destroying your own world." "We adapt by surviving ourselves," Elias said. Again and again. A pause. Then a soft, amused sound escaped the Queen. "Pathetic," she said. "You mistake endurance for worth." She dismissed him with a flick of her clawed hand. But as Elias was led away, Queen Zyrith's gaze lingered just a second longer than necessary. Seeds of arrogance. Queen Zyrith had ruled the Valari Dominion for 2 centuries. She had overseen the absorption of 17 civilizations. Each had claimed uniqueness. Each had failed. The Valari believed in hierarchical intelligence, the idea that superior cognition naturally ruled lesser forms. Their empire was built on efficiency, predictability, and control. Humanity disrupted none of those metrics. And yet, reports began filtering in. Human labor units learned Valari interfaces faster than expected. Human engineers began suggesting optimizations to Valari systems. Minor at first, then undeniable. Valari overseers dismissed it as coincidence. Queen Zyrith dismissed it as noise. Her biggest mistake was not underestimating human strength. It was underestimating human curiosity, the quiet resistance. Humans did not rebel with weapons. They rebelled with questions. Why did Valari energy grids fluctuate during solar storms? Why did Dominion logistics require centralized command nodes? Why did Valari AI cores reject recursive learning? Dr. Elias Rowan, reassigned as a cognitive consultant, noticed patterns others ignored. Valari systems were powerful, but brittle. They optimized for dominance, not resilience. Human networks, messy, decentralized, emotional, were chaos-resistant. Elias began sharing ideas quietly, not commands, concepts. Human engineers adapted Valari tech to human problem-solving styles. They didn't sabotage. They improved. Valari systems became more efficient, but also more dependent on human input. Queen Zyrith noticed improvements and approved them. Arrogance whispered, "Even their usefulness comes from us." The Queen and the human. Weeks later, Elias was summoned again, this time alone. Queen Zyrith studied him as he entered. "You have altered our energy flow models," she said. "I optimized them," Elias replied. "Why?" "Because inefficiency wastes time, and time is fragile." Her eyes glowed brighter. "You speak as if time concerns you." "It concerns everyone," Elias said, "even empires." The silence stretched between them. "You are unusual," Zyrith admitted. "Your species should not produce minds like yours." Elias met her gaze. "Every species does," he said. "You just decide too quickly which ones matter." Something shifted, not anger, curiosity. Queen Zyrith made a decision she would later regret or cherish. She allowed him closer. Middle, cracks and perfection. As cycles pass, Valari dependence on human-modified systems increased. Trade routes optimized by human logistics models became essential. Energy grids stabilized by human chaos algorithms resisted stellar anomalies. Valari commanders praised efficiency. Queen Zyrith praised herself. Then the Dominion expanded again. They encountered the Krell Union, a species immune to psychic dominance, resistant to Valari weaponry. For the first time in centuries, the Valari suffered losses. Queen Zyrith demanded solutions. Her advisors failed. So she summoned Elias. How would humans fight this enemy? She asked. Elias answered honestly. We wouldn't fight them alone. The queen frowned. Explain. We'd ally. Adapt. Learn from failure. Share weaknesses. The queen recoiled slightly. To share weakness is to invite destruction. Only if you think strength is solitary, Elias replied. The Valari launched a full assault on the Krell. They lost an entire fleet. The Dominion had never known defeat. Fear spread, quiet, controlled, unspoken. Queen Zyra stared at star maps deep into the cycle, and for the first time she wondered if pathetic had been a projection. The turning point. The Krell counterattacked. Valari systems failed. Predictable, rigid, centralized. Human-adapted networks held, but only where humans were present. Queen Zyrith issued an unprecedented order. All human cognitive units are to be elevated to strategic integration. Elias stood beside her as Dominion fleets regrouped. You trust us now? He asked. I trust outcomes, she replied. Together, they devised something radical, not a weapon, a distributed command structure, human-inspired, decentralized, adaptive. Valari officers resisted, but necessity silenced pride. The next battle changed history. Valari fleets flowed like living organisms. They adapted in real time. They retreated, regrouped, evolved. The Krell were stunned. They withdrew. Victory, earned, not assumed. The Dominion celebrated. Queen Zyrith did not, because she knew the truth. Humanity had not just helped them win. Humanity had changed them. Revelation. In the aftermath, Queen Zyra summoned Elias one final time. You were right, she said. About alliances? He asked. About worth, she replied. She rose from her throne, something no human had ever seen. When I called your species pathetic, she said, I believed it. And now, Elias asked, now I see that you are dangerous, she said softly. Not because you dominate, but because you endure, you adapt, you infect systems with change. Elias smiled faintly. We call that growth. Queen Zyrith regarded him for a long moment. The Dominion cannot rule you, she said. Not anymore. What happens next? Elias asked. She extended a clawed hand. Partnership, she said, or war. Elias took her hand. Partnership, he said, but only if Earth stands as an equal. Queen Zyrith nodded. Her biggest mistake had become her greatest correction, ending the legacy of the insult. Centuries later, historians would mark that moment as the end of the Valari Dominion, not its collapse, its transformation. The Dominion became the Valari Human Accord, a coalition built on adaptability rather than hierarchy. Queen Zyrith would be remembered not as a conqueror, but as the ruler who learned. And humanity? Humanity would never forget the words that nearly doomed them. Humans are pathetic. They turned that insult into a warning. To every empire that followed,